Thanks everybody. We haven't started the meeting yet. We needed to do a sound check to make sure that that uh, all of that we're working on every on every angle. Can we just do a little sound check, just an overall right now? Is there anybody who cannot hear me that is not coming in clearly? Eddie, are you going to be a problem all night or just at the beginning?
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Hi, Bobby. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this evening, and thank you for your patience. When we do this in conversation time, uh, we have to do some of the technical stuff just so that I know what I'm doing. And of course, Kathy is the co-host tonight, so she'll be looking for any comments that you might want to put in, or any questions, anything like that. She's going to, I'm not ignoring you. I just won't have it up on my screen because she's going to be looking after that. And so appreciate it, Kathy. Thank you. All right. I am going to pin Miles and myself for this first part. And okay, add pin so that there we are. How many of you enjoyed the conversation with Laura C last week or 2 weeks ago now? Yeah, I know you did. That's that's where I met Miles, is with Laura C, and the two of them just are absolutely amazing, separately and together, very different. But when you put the two of them together, it's just something else. And Miles, welcome to the River 474 tonight to In Conversation. And I want to thank you ahead of time for all that you're going to say and do, because I'm I'm positioning myself tonight, um, not as a host as much as someone who's receiving. Because even when we just chat, I just think, wow, this man goes a lot deeper, and so appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship. Appreciate meeting Jody and getting to know her a little bit when we were in Missouri at Cedar Creek. You two are really very dynamic together. I think you guys just flow, and it's just such a privilege and such a pleasure. So thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for having me. And I always get stirred when there's a lot of people from Canada, especially around your area. Uh, I remember when we were in Cedar Creek, just even talking about the things that happened in Winnipeg, but being around that whole crew really really pulled on me. There's a place in my heart for Canada and Winnipeg, big time.
Well, I have to say we've had a number of speakers, musicians in over the years, and you are the only one that got Canadian citizen status as you came in through the border. We were only waiting for you an hour, just so you know. You seemed to take your time, and we were a little worried that you didn't get in. That was the funniest thing in the world.
Well, you're jumping right in.
I am.
Yeah, that was weird. I'd never been stopped at customs and grilled for something that happened 30 something years ago. So that was very interesting. And and it was for a reason. Um, in the midst of things, having a legal right to speak into the land or into the government, I mean, there I had on my passport an extra piece of paper that says I was a temporary citizen of Canada for a week. So that was very interesting. I still have that somewhere.
That's so good. That's so good. No, it was a very, very unusual experience. And as we shared when Laura was on with us, that you came and you came with us into the legislative building, and you brought your flute, and I shared a little bit about that. But we went into a place. I actually have a picture that I found today. This book is very, very hard to get. It's out of print right now. It's called The Hermetic Code. And and I should have, there it is. And I'm going to just show this picture here. There we go. This is a an eight-pointed star that's in the legislative building in the atrium. When you stand on that star, the sounds that are made in that place goes all the way through the whole entire building. The star is in the center, right underneath what's known as the Golden Boy or Hermes, and the sound, it has a lot of Mason, what are they called? Masonic. This whole structure of the building is Masonic and has a lot of hidden things in it that aren't very good. And this is considered an altar of sacrifice. And some people won't even go in there. But others, it's a real interest, a point of interest. And Miles, you took us into that very spot and brought in the sound, totally brought in that ancient sound that's totally has shifted some things, absolutely shifted some things.
I sure hope so. Yeah. Yeah. At that meeting, when we started worshiping, and a whole group of intercessors came up front, and then I stepped off the stage and I started playing in between them. And this is the part of the story nobody knows, but um, when I did that, I was instantly in Manitoba before there was anything. So I really knew that we were tapping into the Father's original intent for that area, and his original purpose, and with all the intercession that had gone on before, and just the, I mean, it really pulled on that ancient sound. I mean, I don't play that flute very often, but sometimes Laura will say, "We need to," she'll say, play the B flute or the D flute, but play that C flute, and that one is a very, very high flute, and it just does some things in the spirit, and that's where I feeling the heart of the Father. So that's where I'm playing from in releasing that sound, and it was very very interesting to me, because I mean there's a lot of things I didn't expect when the couple came that were part of the indigenous people. I forget their names.
Yeah, Dolly and Irwin Wilson.
Yeah. And when they came, and they were very insistent that it was about the ancient sound, and that's where that sound was coming from, and I think we released that first on that Friday.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure of the timing, and then they came on Saturday, and then
Yeah.
I had a chance to play that again, and play over them, and that was man, that was such an honor. But when we were at the legislative building, I was still carrying the Father's original intent, and I'm not too worried about stepping on unholy ground or ground that was claimed by the enemy, because I do think we're supposed to be the influence instead of that stuff influencing us. Um, but what topped that off for me, I mean, releasing the sound and connecting with the Father's original intent, is when me, you, and Ed took communion in that very spot, and included the land in Manitoba.
You
So
did.
that was very purposed, what the Lord wanted to do,
Yeah.
and to shift things. And uh, the Lord has used me and Laura in the past. I mean, she'll call me and say, we got to invite, and I think it's an assignment. She knows how to hook me. So, I think we're supposed to be there or be there here, and so
That was it really was quite an amazing time. And when you look at the timeline from that meeting, and I don't want to make it, uh greater than it was, but it was pretty great in that when you release the sound, like when you guys are just working together and you release that sound, uh Dolly actually at that time on the Friday night before they came journaled it because she heard it, and they're 2.5 hour drive away. And so she just picking it up in the spirit, and then came. And then going into the ledge, it's just coming to me now. All those intercessors that were there at the meeting that came up to the front, they just organically moved up to the front where you were playing. And like you said, you started playing in amongst them. Those intercessors had spent, and I don't know what year it was, but it was certainly prior to the meeting. They had spent 365 days on that star
wow.
just reading the word. They from beginning to end. They made it a commitment. So it's kind of amazing how if we just do our parts, if we just do the little part that we're given, we get to see it all put together as part of a whole, right? And see it is larger than us, and sometimes we wonder what it is that we're doing, but there we are.
Yeah, and it's doing that with the flute is just so different in how the Lord really brought me up in engaging the land, praying over the land, and in intercession. So it just amazes me what he can do by simple obedience, and answering the call, and allow him to use me different than I'm used to, or being uncomfortable in whatever he asked me to do, but still doing it. Because I know his voice, or I hope I know his voice, and sometimes it's the last thing that he needs to move something, or it might be the first thing. We never know where we are in the position of moving things along in his plan.
I think that's absolutely true. And the very cool thing is when we just give him our yes, he does the rest, right? You just we're and I just love how he puts it together. I didn't know anything about the ancient flutes until I met you, or the sound. Didn't know the power of it, that it op this that sound operates in. I want to go in that direction and ask you a question, but I just want to one more point to the government in Manitoba. Our present premier of the province is First Nations now, this
Oh
in
wow.
this last election. So this thread seems to be continuing. I was so grateful. When we were in the meeting, and I don't want this to sound like a commercial, everybody, but I want to. Kathy's going to put Miles. Uh, what webs? It's the website. The website on. It's called seventhstreammusic.com, and you can go there and find out more about sound bath. One of the things that I was really grateful for, and grateful for you coming on tonight as well, is when you did a sound bath for me. Like I had no clue. I had absolutely no clue. I don't play an instrument. I don't have, I know about frequency, resonance, vibration to the extent of knowledge, not experience in the way that musicians do. And I just, when you did a sound bath, just personally for me, things shifted that I haven't got words for. And so when I sit in a meeting with you and you're part of the sound in that meeting music or in that meeting, sorry, I just I I just find that there's something in the sound, and I know they're called ancient, but that sound just is a resonance within me as though I'm ancient. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm old, but there's a sound that resonates. And I know we're going to experience that tonight, and I want to encourage people to look into it even more. So I'm just going to leave that there. How did you start? There was some point where you picked up this instrument and said, I need to play that. How did that happen?
Well, me and Jody, we ran a house of prayer in Manitou Springs, and I have a friend named Tom, and he was a big part of that, and still, I still meet with him and his wife and a couple other people. Um, and he is a music instrument pusher. So, so um, he'd play the guitar, the piano, the drums, but he let me borrow a flute, and he said it's pretty easy. You go like this. So, um, I I took it home and I played with it for a little while, and then it's like, you know what, I need this for personal worship, and so Jody got me one for Christmas, and I it was just something that I did for personal worship. He showed me a few things, but the Lord developed the technique or skill or whatever. But a lot of it was uh, just connecting in that one-on-one time, um, and the, and every once in a while I would accompany the worshipers. I was usually the one that was directing the things, or the person doing the intercession part of the worship set. So I did not play very often. Um, but when I did play, or I ended up playing over a person, that's what happened is things just open up as far as my gifting goes, and so I'm starting to see down the generational lines, the gifting, and then I have that knowing in my spirit. The Lord said, just pull on them generational inheritance, those giftings into the now. And to even know that, I might have to back up, because we did the house of prayer thing, and intercession mixed with worship, and that was more of a prophetic flow anyway. But me and my wife did a lot of deliverance and inner healing. So over time, the Lord really honed discernment and how to hear Him, and what to do with it. So,
Mhm.
um, so I just kept on that vein, and then my son's girlfriend was graduating from high school, and I actually made a recording, and in before the start of the music, I was um, basically telling her, when the father, well, she was Native American anyway, so when the Creator created you, he put in you a song only you can sing, a dance only you can dance, and it was basically calling out her purpose, or the things that the Creator created her for. So, and it just, ever since I started playing the flute, it just went that way. I'm speaking to something, or drawing it out, or releasing that sound. Um, I,
Mm.
I, rem- I remember after uh, I got uh, the opportunity to play at one of Nancy's first conferences when she started coming back on the scene, and I remember after the conference. I mean, because first of all, they had Alberto Rivera, which I listened to him and Kimberly for a long time, and so it was very intimidating to me. It's like this guy doesn't need anybody else. But but when the Lord had me play, as soon as I started playing, the electricity in me went from 120 to 880. I mean, it was very electric, and of course I'm seeing stuff, and I'm going, Lord, what do you want me to? I'm playing it, but it's how do you play that? And and so a lot of that is connecting to what is emanating from the Father's heart. So a lot of times I'll see a book or a scroll, and um, I I don't know what's on it. I just know it's the emanations coming from the Father for that person or for that place. Um, and sometimes I do get a clue. I get the understanding or knowledge of a piece of that he's really emphasizing. Um, but I remember at that first conference, I was packing everything up, and I was looking towards the back, and I seen Yeshua, and he was he was walking away, and he had a flute in his hand, and he looked back at me with a sneaky, Jehovah sneaky type grin, and it was like, well, follow me. And so that's kind of the way it's been. But I did ask him, why'd you train me in all this, and then put this piece of wood in my hand? And what he told me is everything that I need you to do can come out of that. If I've ministered in deliverance and any inner healing stuff. And he was saying, if people need healing, it'll come from there, or that's what will come out. If people need deliverance, that's what will come out. And I I think he's really honing that in even another fashion, because um, today, or last couple of years, it's more what people were designed for. Because when you're deliverance and inner healing, a lot of times you're dealing with stuff that where somebody has taken on a lie or been influenced from um, certain programming, from culture or their parents, but usually or mindsets that are really influence them. So what the Father has done is really hone that into to connecting people with what the Father has spoken over them. And a lot of things I'm always drawn back to scriptures that have to do with, I mean, like when David was speaking to the Lord, he said, before one of my days was, I
Mm.
mean, they were already written in my book, or in the Father's book for him. So, and I really feel that about everybody. And if they can connect with that, um, they're more connecting with their true self
Right.
in the Father's original intentions. And so I think that's, when we were doing the things in Manitoba, it was really pointed that he was returning it to his original intentions, his original blueprint for that region.
Well, You're helping to put some words to my experience when I've been in the meetings, or when I did have that just one-on-one time in a sound bath. It was my one of. Um, I I felt like the frequency of the sound reached into a place that I could. I'm going to say read. It's like the scroll is in me. I could read it, but it was through a sensing of it. It wasn't something that came up on a screen that had a ton of words, and so uh, I felt like that something lifted to feel what I knew, but I hadn't known before. It hadn't been real before. And I might have just babbled a whole bunch of words that didn't make sense, but they sure made sense at the time.
Uh,
At the time.
Um, no, I think you hit it on the head. I I I haven't really been trained in music, so I mean the whole thing was really to be follow the Lord and be put out in front of people where I don't even know what I'm going to play.
I know. I know.
I have to pull into the Father's heart. Yeah, I might start off, but there's if He's not in it, I really don't even. Um, yeah, I can pick up the flute and make pretty sounds, but it's just there is a deep connection, and if I don't feel that deep connection of where to go with it,
Right.
um, I I wouldn't keep on doing it, but it does. The music and frequency, um, it does things in the brain that we don't even know about. But I mean, obviously, you can remember a song from 40 years ago, and it really affects you. It can affect your mood. I mean, you have either happy thoughts about it or sad if it was a sad moment, or um, but the music does things on a real deep level, consciously and subconsciously,
Right. Right.
and even throughout our whole body. I mean, I didn't even know about all that stuff. The Lord keeps on, because I'm really interested. Why did you put this in front of me? And I mean, He really wants us to know
Right.
um, how He works. I mean, yeah, we have. I mean, we have the word, but there's a lot more to that. I mean, yeah, He spoke things into existence. I mean, there you have frequency even right there. He hovered over the waters. I mean, when you're hearing music, it is affecting the waters in your whole body.
That's right. And he hasn't finished. That's the cool thing. Like that process that was started is continuing, because as we step in, we don't creation uh continues. It As we cooperate, as you're finding you're cooperating with that sound, and then you release it, and we get to receive that as a gift, really, to do it as well. And it does go very, very deep. English isn't my first language, but I haven't used it, fluently for 7 decades now. Um, but I can sing songs that I remember from 5 years old. I can sing them in Norwegian. And I know what I'm saying. It's crazy. It's crazy how that sound, that frequency actually is very powerful, very powerful. So when you say, when you talk about you had a picture before, excuse me, you had a picture behind you before we started, and it's one of your favorites because there's a scroll within a scroll, a book within a book. And uh, uh, I sort of feel that way about you, that there's a book within a book in you.
Yeah, I'm 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 consulting the author on that one. I really like to know what he meant in some areas. Uh, it's it's I mean it's been quite a journey, you know. When you think you know who you are and the um, uh, me and my wife Jody are we're bilocational. We live in Manitou Springs and we live in a different part of the state during the week. It's part of our assignment, but it's it's out in the middle of nowhere. 2 miles that way is wilderness. Uh, so it's, I mean, and then across the valley, which is quite expansive, there's another mountain range. But when I got down here, and I know the Lord, I mean, He opened a lot of doors. Um, I was leaning up against a corral fence, and I didn't even hear a fly buzz. And I'm going, Lord, really? You know, bringing me out here in the middle of nowhere. So it's been there's been some deconstruction and some reconstruction, um, but our it's just another layer. But there's our ability to connect heaven and earth. That's always been our mandate. I mean, when Yeshua was here, I mean, he said, wherever, if I'm here, the kingdom's here. The kingdom is within you. The kingdom is at hand. That was his mission, was the kingdom. So we're in that place where the awareness or the separation is not as much as we think. I think the Lord's reconditioning us to really be that place where heaven touches earth. I mean, some of the when I first got down into this part of the state, I was I was just playing, and it was getting real intense, and I was looking north out of the window, and in what I knew was Zion, it came down and it touched the earth, and something um, something broke in me, and I mean I never weep like that and try to play the flute at the same time. It don't work, but I was um, but it it needs to be that real, you know. Well, we're affected emotionally, we're affected physically. That connection um, with the realms of the Father, with the kingdom realms.
Right,
So,
right,
and
right.
so when when I'm playing, I know I'm making that connection. That door is open, and when I can feel or see the words even coming off the pages, and I did ask the Father not too well, probably a year ago or two by now, uh, who am I? And then he showed me this one image. It didn't look like me. It didn't look like nothing I have ever seen. But he showed me one slice of that, and it was a certain color and a certain shape. And he said, "You are whatever. You are a reflection of me in the earth. Whatever I need you to be."
Wow, wow. Okay,
And
you weren't you weren't Miles Anderson with a flute all your life. When did he get your attention to uh when when did that
when
happen?
uh, uh 2007 or 8, I think. So it's not very long with the flute journey.
Well, yeah, with the flute, but before that, he had to get your attention to to know him. Where when did that come about? Was there a defining time in in a field or a church or a like Saul on road to Damascus? What happened?
Um, well, I think I got arrested. I mean rescued. Because I mean, um, growing up, I did battle with addiction, so that did run its course, and I bounced on the bottom for a little while, and then the Lord did rescue me, and put a lot of people in my life that was pointed me in the right direction, and um, and they're I got introduced to the 12-step programs, which really helped me reintroduce me uh, to a concept of God. But I remember even asking, I would pray to that for revelation, because obviously what I believed before wasn't working. So that's where the Lord really put people in my path that can really speak truth. And it, because I thought I did believe, but uh, I think all of once you hit that born again experience, you really know, that when the Spirit is moving inside. I remember I had that experience with a couple people, and then I came back about a week later, and I said, "Man, ever since that time, I've had this burning in my chest." And he says, and I said, "Does that ever go away?" And he says, "You better hope not." But I mean, I feel I never thought of myself as a feeler as part of one of my gifts. That's more my wife, but I've always felt that when the Spirit is moving, it really expands from my heart on out. So
Well, it's very it's very evident when you pick up an instrument. It's almost uh, you become another man. From the when those notes start, it's like you move into the music. You move into the sound. Should I know that there's going to be people that with questions and that. I don't want to take questions at this point. Shall we move into the sound bath and then open up this conversation? Do you feel, or is there anything that you would like to share before you do that? Maybe stage what a sound bath is for those of us, because you know 5 years ago I would have thought it was just a goofy word, and maybe there's people that are listening that need to know what it is, what it achieves.
well, uh, my purpose in doing a sound bath is very much. Now, I usually state that we usually engage the Father as far as His original intent for it. So we're moving our intentions to really and expectations into receiving from the Father His original intentions, or we're saying, hey, I'm going to connect with what is written, with what you spoke over my life,
Mm.
and and part of the sound bath part of that is being able to bring people out of fight or flight mode and into a different frequency, where they can actually step back from the fight or flight stuff, and be able to actually be in a more of a meditative state where they can actually receive from the Father. So, and a lot of people don't, and the frequency and the music does an amazing work in that.
So tonight, as you are playing, do we is there are you is there a position like that is optimal? Can we just sort of hang out on our chairs, our offices, and just be?
Oh, you open yourself up. it works best if you stand on your head.
I can do that. I
Um,
can do that. Not for 20 minutes though. Um,
but but it helps if if and I think everybody is muted. But no, just open up your spirit and set it towards the Father. And what I like to do is just give him a hug. I mean, yeah, he's bigger than the universe, but you're in him. Just but imagine that, just like you do with somebody that you haven't seen in a long time. You know that the embrace. It's because there's nothing in between. It's just. I don't know if you've ever watched those little YouTube clips of soldiers coming home and the embrace that people um, do when they run up and grab each other. But it's heart to heart. I mean, if you ever watch them and to grab on and hold and just, you know, it's very much an embrace.
okay.
So
All
so
right.
we will.
Well, I'm going to unpin myself here so that it's you've got I'm just going to let you continue. And then after you come back, generally do you share a little afterwards of if there's anything that Father has on your heart?
Um, yeah, sometimes if he's really pointing something out, one thing that he did really point out is, I mean, yeah, we're going into a season, but he really emphasizing being the gift that he's made you to be. However, he's developed that in you, and you know, I mean, a gift is for giving away, and that's, I mean, the gifts that he's put in us. That's what his intentions was to edify, to build up, and to help others or to bless others. So he was really putting his finger on us becoming that gift or that blessing to others that he intended.
Okay,
And a lot of that goes back to his original intent for us.
beautiful, beautiful. Okay, well, I'm going to join everybody. I'm going to join the gallery and just breathe. We know how to just set ourselves and breathe. Where am I? There we go.
Okay, I'll need to stand up for this because if I'm sitting down, I can't get full breath.
Okay.
Beloved, listen as you melt into the Father's arms in a holy embrace. Spirit to spirit, let your heart beat as one in holy agreement as you become what is written and become the sum of his thoughts towards you. Let them be deeply cherished in your whole being, with your whole heart, with all your soul and all your mind. hopefully that came across as good as it sounded in here.
Well, I there were a few people who didn't get it for some reason. I think Ed's come up here. You're up here. Ed, Bob, Kathy. I don't know if there's anybody else, but I just want to say, because it's hard to come back into the room sometimes after being out there somewhere. Um, I think we got a really good recording, everybody, so that that it'll be put on the website so that you can have that. And I'm going to ask Bob to separate it as well, so you can just click on the if you've missed it, to click it on. I felt like I wished I'd had earphones, just at an extra level of plugging in into me. Uh, Miles, I don't know if you have anything that you want to share. I do have a couple of things that I felt bubble up in the time. Um,
Um, yeah, I really feel sometimes when I'm drawn back to the lower notes, I can really, I mean, I see DNA, and I've always feel that the Lord is actually doing stuff um, generationally sometimes, and uh, when I ascend through the notes, and especially the highest notes, I really see the Lord really. He's actually reminding people of their scroll. So it's he's dealing with the whole person all through the whole scale, but there's certain notes that he'll have me hang on and just repeat. It's like, okay, how long do you want me to repeat these? But it's it's tell he tells me to move on. I know in some of that I was actually seeing um, uh, somebody getting some deep healing from some childhood wounds, and I was seeing that, but I was feeling that very much come through. So, um, but uh, but when especially up through the high notes, that's where I feel he's releasing that scroll again. It's like him uh, telling you again, this is how I made you. This is what I created you for. This is part of me in you that needs to be expressed on the earth.
in I don't want to interrupt you. It's kind of exciting what you're saying. Um, Miles, I'm going to move us into the room where everybody is, and then I'm going to share some of the things that just resonated in me, and then open it up as well for everybody. So we're just going to we're just going to be one party here. Okay. Oh, there we go. Here we are into the gallery. Hi, everybody. Boy, it's nice to see you. I totally understand all of you that have just gone behind your name in the square. Uh, I know it's a lot easier just to focus without thinking where is my face in this. Um, Miles, thank you so much for sharing a bit of your life, but is sharing this as well. In this time, I just had this real it was almost like a um, an audible voice saying, "Trust me in the new," and I felt like that was, we say that a lot, right? There's a shift, there's something new or whatever, but I felt that he was saying, just trust me in it, whatever it is. First of all, I felt like this ancient path is the path. We're on a right one. I felt very affirmed in that, and affirmed by Jeremiah 6:16 that says, "Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask for the ancient paths. I love that. Ask where the good way is. And isn't that what we want? And then it says, and walk in it, and you will find rest for your souls. I have been feeling really excited about some of the things that I've been seeing come up. And so tonight, when you were playing, and this started coming up as affirmation for me, and also one of the things that towards the end he said, we're going to see, I know this, we're going to see, because we are going to have a greater capacity for being tuned into one another, that there's going to be a resonance, like when one of us is feeling um, wherever our frequency is there's going to be a resonance with whoever it is, and it's going to become more real, and we're going to understand because we're going to experiencing what we've been learning in the quantum field. And for some of you, I hope that resonates. I felt really encouraged, Miles. I felt really like something settled for me. So it was really good. So I appreciate that. Now, I know we're all together. So if anyone wants to ask Miles anything or share anything from this time, please do. Please do. I know, Debbie, you had your hand up before. Was that answered or?
No, no, I couldn't get the video on. I don't know how come I kept on hitting the wrong thing. I was trying to get the video to work. I never could get it to work.
Okay.
But that's fine. I just listened. I'm sorry I was disruptive on that. I didn't mean to be.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And I do believe we've got a good recording tonight, so you'll be able to watch it if you'd like to.
I also recorded it here, and
Okay.
I'll render that and I'll send it to you, Helen, and you can do
Perfect.
with it what you want.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also sometimes as it goes on, I remember, because I'm very fluid, so there's a lot of things I'm seeing as I'm playing. But one thing that sticks out too, and I don't wear tennis shoes, but I was seeing tennis shoes that were just, with glory light on them, and I was really feeling that that he's really anointing us to walk in a different way.
Okay.
So I don't know if that speaks to all of us or anybody. So
Well, it sure speaks to me. I think we are to walk this out. I think it'll mean different things to different people. And Todd and Elizabeth, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, it's me.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi. So that was Miles, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I did have to get up and down a few times, but that was I just felt such expansion and such saturation. Our whole house here, dogs and cat and Jen and Todd and I, all of us. But what I found really interesting was as soon as you stopped, so I felt, yeah, my heart and just this expansion. But as soon as you stopped, there was something so powerful that went up. And it went like the crown of my head, like just this powerful force, just up, 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 up. So I don't know if anyone else felt that, but I just like closed my eyes and I was just kind of going up. And that, I don't know how long that lasted, a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes. But that was so awesome. Thank you.
She's going to disappear on me one day.
I'm going up.
So that that kind of confirms something that I saw years ago. I was in the jewelry industry. Not a jeweler, but I worked with jewelers and I worked for a ring manufacturer. And I don't know if you know what a mandrel is, but if you look it up, it's the thing that they use to shape rings and size rings. The other day when I was doing heart brain coherence and all by my big self without anybody telling me to, I could not, I just got such a clear vision of him working the mandrel. And I didn't know what it was for, but as soon as you started playing tonight, Miles, that vision came back. I closed my eyes and that's all I could see was him working the mandrel. And a mandrel will make, there's actually a lever. It's like a metal rod, but it's skinnier at the top than it is at the bottom. And you heat the metal and knock it down and to size it up. But to stretch it, they have stretching mandrels that you pull like this and it will actually spread it out more and more. And what he was doing with that mandrel was enlarging, but I couldn't see the ring. And I just kept asking. I was like, all right, what are you enlarging? What are you enlarging? And then she got the crown. So that's why I shared.
Wow.
That's what came through, Miles.
Awesome. It's good seeing you guys. I see a lot of people that I seen at the at Cedar Creek.
Yeah, it's awesome
Yeah,
to
so
see you
good to see
too.
you.
Sorry, we're so blurry. I think
Yeah.
maybe we actually did disappear a little bit.
Wash your screen.
Yeah,
Our little camera.
Did you do that?
problems.
Oh. You guys work in tandem so well. Elizabeth, I love that that you had that sensation of something rising like that. I think that is pretty significant too.
Yeah, it was very powerful.
It was.
Very powerful.
It was.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Do you have anything to say, Miles?
I believe when we're playing into, I was very much okay. We have, I don't know how many people, but on the call, but how do you play or pray over one person's book? Well, that doesn't work that way, but well, it does in God's economy.
Yeah.
One thing I've frequently seen is and I asked the Lord, what's my role in the heavenlies? Because we have a role here, but we also have citizenship in heaven. So a while back, I seen myself outside this huge building, and I knew it was a library. And so a lot of times when I'm engaging somebody or something, I'm outside of the library, and there's this one spot, and there's a huge pedestal, and the book is on there, and Yeshua is standing right next to me, and we're looking at the book, and he's pointing towards a page or a paragraph or whatever. So I know even beforehand, see, when I was praying, because I was asking the Lord about that, is how are we going to do this and minister individually, as a group. And it's not a problem for him because he has everybody's book. He's everywhere all the time. But it was interesting because I know it's speaking to the whole person, from their DNA on up to where they are now. But it's speaking to the body, their conscious, their subconscious, and the pathways in our brain, and hopefully that is just connecting to your spirit. And one of the things the Lord has been showing me is a really making it very pointed is our I mean our spirit is perfect. And even Jesus said, be perfect even as your Father is perfect. So, you know, salvation is just the beginning. He's calling us into a place in Him where we are that perfect reflection of our spirit or the Father's original intent. So I I do believe that that stuff lines up when when we can engage the Father on a deep level. And for some reason, the sound bath or the flute and the music will actually help. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
It
Totally.
also, I unmuted myself just to say one more thing. It reminded me also of the sound of the whale.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, Jonah.
That's an ancient sound. That,
Yeah.
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 oh, you're right.
Yeah.
It does. It does. Beautiful.
I was really feeling that even as I was playing, there was that calling out to remember, calling the each person to remember.
Cool.
And
Cool. Gina.
where'd you go?
Oh, there you are.
Thank you, Miles. Good to see you again. Mwah,
There
mwah.
you are. Good to see you again.
Oh, that was so wonderful. Thank you. I'll just quickly go through the high notes got me. They really resonated with me and in me. And as soon as I heard you went up to that first one, like it was so striking to me that I needed to know what pitch it was because I said, I have to remember this pitch. And so I have it,
Oh,
but
well, I was playing a D flute, a
E,
D minor.
yeah, I
So,
got it.
oh, you got it already.
I got it all. Thank you. But yeah, um, it was beautiful because then I started to sing along with you, and I was just following you so that you're there, I'm here, and I was practicing my quantum entanglement because I want to have so I got the info, right? Um, the frequency brought me the information and then the vibration brought me the feeling. So I thought, okay, I'm in. And so I mirrored you the whole time. You couldn't hear me, obviously, good thing. But so that I could feel that vibration in my body. So thank you. It was beautiful, really fun. I'm going to do that with your CD now that I figured it out, and or your little MP3 thing. And then I felt like then you hovered in a little bit more intensity in the higher notes, and you hovered in and around those, and it got a little bit more aggressive or expressive, and then that hovering thing, that intensity brought me the energy of God and brought the energy of me out of me. It brought it up, and I thought, wow, this is so fun. Like it was this beautiful experience, and then but the high D was really special, and it took me back to the womb.
Mm.
And so the things that you said were really pertinent to me because it was where I was being reformed and reborn to my original intent of what God wanted for me, to my higher self. So that's what I think about being born again. It's that. Born again to my sacred higher self. Beautiful. So thank you so much. And I love that you spoke about the DNA because that I was in my DNA formation time and energy while in the womb. So, yeah, really fun. And I love that you also said, you know, it, you said something, I'll get it. Reminding me of of my scroll. And the Lord said to me, remember yourself. Don't recall. Remember your parts. Remember your DNA. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I can still feel the entanglement very, very strong coming from you. I appreciate that feedback because I, you're a musician, right?
Singer, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I know there's a specific connection right there.
Mm,
Yeah. Thank you so much.
thank you, Miles.
Um, yeah, the father's been showing me something lately, and he he kept on showing me when our spirit, when we were conceived at conception, where our spirit met that DNA, where there was that spark, where there was that, and what that spark was, that was our spirit's imprint at conception. So I mean, and obviously we're you know having to deal with all the stuff coming through the generations and the different genetic stuff, but uh, that's very interesting that you said that. So, but I believe when the Lord is speaking that through the flute, He is going back all the way to the beginning and even into the future. You know, those high notes are declaring, okay, this is who you are. This is all the permissions, all the authority. This is who I called you to be. So, it's amazing that the Lord can do that and be personal to everybody at once. So
Totally amazing. Amazing. Thanks for sharing, Gina. Pat. Oh, there we go.
Hello, Miles. I just am so excited that you came back to share with us today. I just was so blessed from you from way back there when you first came. And I connected with you because I love music. I love the sound that you brought, the ancient sound, and it just permeated me. And I was just, oh, I was so excited that you were coming. And I just want to share something. I felt so much peace, just so peaceful. It was so beautiful. And then I saw you wearing a shawl, like a Hebrew shawl. And I looked and I looked again, and it was like you were wearing it when you began to play the flute. I don't know what that means to you, but that's what I saw.
would that that'd be like a talit prayer shawl?
Uh, I'm not sure exactly, but it was right over you over your head, over your head and shoulders. And it like I saw it so clearly. It was, I looked again and I looked again, and it was just such a beautiful anointing and upon you with this shawl. So I hope it ministers to you as well. And the other thing that I saw was a lot of purple and green lights too while you were playing. It was really beautiful as well. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you. I'm glad you came to share it today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. That's really encouraging. Judith.
Oh, Miles, that was just heavenly. I don't know how else to express myself, but it truly was heavenly. And the colors were just, well, they were heavenly colors too. Just all sorts of colors coming, and I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that we were all connected, not just here. I could see the people all over the world, and we are connected, and I know that we are. The thing that really just really amazed me is I became the sound that you were playing. I felt it was coming out of me. And I know nothing about music. That was just beautiful. I would like to ask you, where can I get your CDs?
I do have some recorded things. I do not have them on the website, but Helen, you can give out my just regular email. It is seventhstringmusic@gmail.com. So
Gmail. Okay.
and and I can hook you up
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm hooked.
because I have a recording I did a long time ago, and it's funny you should mention it because it was called "See the Sound," and you were seeing the sound. So
Yeah.
and the other recording I did was the name of it was Zakar, which is Hebrew for remember.
Okay.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Miles, I think that you already have your shawl on. It's your hair. It looks like a white prayer shawl.
It looks ancient.
Yeah, like you have it on. It's part of who you are. There you go.
Yeah, well, it's when Pat was mentioning that I mean that's a place where you pray from or you minister from. So I
Yeah.
mean, obviously in the Hebrew tradition, that's they're covering that they would go into deep prayer,
Yeah.
with that on. So,
Mhm.
and when you said
You
that,
get to
Pat,
live in it.
I was seeing all sorts of Hebrew letters all over that thing. I don't. Um, I think when I was playing, I was seeing the IN, so I'm not not sure the connotations on that. I don't have my quick reference as far as the explanation, but it
Yeah.
might be connected. Uh, well, I think the Hebrew letter that I was because sometimes I'll see the different symbols, but it's the one that connects heaven and earth, and I thought that was very interesting.
Perfect. 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 Sally.
Miles, it's so good to see you again. And thank you so much. I saw you in April. And I remember, you probably don't remember, but we actually talked and you asked me where did I go? And I went back to the womb. Well, this time it was like I was in the beginning, I was in Bereshit. And then all of a sudden, I was like this light in Father's hands and it was glowing and it was like wisdom was swirling and dancing around. And then Father so gently put me in my mother's womb, and I'm back in the womb again. And then I'm in the delivery room where I had in the 90s, I had a vision. I was a twin and my twin didn't live. Where and Father was holding me in the delivery room with the bright light saying, "You were the one that I chose for this time." And there it was again, him telling me, "You were the one that I chose for this time." And then you kind of finished. But anyway, it was very beautiful. Thank you so much. Just love that music and that sound. It just really takes you, takes you away, like take me away, Calgon. Remember that, that,
Yeah. Well, thank you for
that
sharing.
is,
I mean,
yeah.
it's amazing when um because we have in mass people had set their intent to engage the Father, and that in a and we all came under that sound and we're able to all of us experience a touch. So that's always amazing to me, and the way the Father works like that.
Thank you. I'm just so glad I made it today. I just got home and almost forgot. And about 7:38, I was like, oh my goodness. So we've been traveling. So I'm just so grateful. Thank you again, and God bless.
Well, thank you. And I things like this, I mean, really, like Judith was saying, I mean, feeling connected to every one of you. It's amazing how that works. Especially the ones from Manitoba. I can't express that enough. I think it's Helen's fault.
I've been blamed for a lot worse than that. That's awesome. No, we appreciate you, and you know, we shouldn't be really surprised that you could have so many people being influenced at the same time from one uh, sound bath, because we are one, and that's been our I think one of the greatest gifts that we've come into is that understanding with each other and wanting to be one, like trusting. I remember Todd Plank saying one time about trusting, the importance of trust. He didn't say it this way. I wish I remember exactly, but it's resonated with me about trusting the God in another. Like, we can trust what God says in us, but we need to be able to be that one to the extent where we trust God in each other. So very powerful, our I amness. Kathy.
I actually want to read something that Jacqueline wrote to me. And she wanted, Miles, you to know that your music triggered like a jolt of electricity in her several times. And it was profoundly beautiful. So that's from Jacqueline.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Wow, the power of sound, eh? The power. It can break a glass. It can heal a wound. So much, so much.
Yeah, and it amazes me when people actually see colors, because a lot of times I see colors, and sometimes the colors are actually in a frequency range. And I look at this stuff because I'm interested on how the Father works, and but sometimes like I got a zillion flutes, so I got the whole range, and then some in different frequencies, and well, just like today is what flute do you want me to use? Because I pick one up, play it, and it's like, no, that's not it, But um, I know sometimes the key of E, and sometimes I will see some shade of green, and I know there's healing coming through, or there was an intent for that. So I'm still discovering. I just try to just sink in to what I feel emanating from the Father, and try to understand it and play at the same time. So sometimes you just got to let it resonate in your spirit, and just, I mean,
it's true, isn't it? There's sometimes that something is said, something played, something done, and a week later you're going, oh, that was this was that. And I love that. I love it. I love things like, I love the sound bath, because I know that it has come in and will continue to resonate. And I'm glad you're going to send me a copy, then we can make sure that it's posted a little bit more professionally. But I think I've got a good copy here too. Pat, you're back. There you go.
Okay.
Yay.
Yeah, when you were playing, Miles, there was certain times where it was just a very beep, 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 very short. Was that anything that you can share that was coming to you when you were sharing that sound at all?
I have no idea. No, it's well, it it's funny because I mean, you know, you feel to hit certain tones, and that is sometimes it's just doing stuff I don't even understand. It's just I that's what I'm, you know, feeling, and then when I start playing that, and it's just like, okay, you know, kind of feeling the spirit say, stay here, keep at that, because it's speaking to something. Uh, um, uh, I know sometimes when I'm playing, I'm seeing little like electric currents going through, rewiring people's brains and making some connections, and so. Specifically, no, but the father is very intentional to the point where this is weird because I've played that note, that beep, like 12 times, you know, in a row. But you know, that's what I'm led to do sometimes, and it is doing something.
Right. Yeah, I just wondered because it was so different, and so I thought, oh, I wonder where the Lord's taking us in this note, in this particular type of music. So anyway, I just was curious. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh.
I'm getting the feeling that it was very specific to what I'm seeing now is just there's a whole bunch of scrolls. So it was very much because it's not just one scroll. I'm seeing like a series of them, and I think sometimes we have different assignments for different seasons, and the Lord was really tooling us up, you know, or depositing that or calling it forth.
Thank you.
Very cool. Kathy.
Actually, Susan wants to say something.
Okay.
I just was putting my hand up for her.
Oh, good. Hi, Susan.
Hi. So I did a Zoom update a week ago and everything changed on me. I couldn't get my video on. Kathy, thank you. Whatever you did worked. And now I can't find the raise hand button. So thank you, Kathy. You've been such a great assistance tonight. Anyway, Miles, thank you so much. Just to confirm a couple of things, as I entered in, I heard the Lord say, follow the sound. Just follow the sound. And that verse, Jeremiah 6:16 that you spoke of, Helen, came to me because it came to me probably 10 years ago or so. And I've been asking for the ancient paths, and I know this is an ancient sound. And so he told me to follow the sound. And another just sort of offshoot of that I've been hearing a lot lately is find your sound. Find your sound. And Miles, you did, I think, and I mentioned this to you at Cedar Creek, you did a private sound bath for me. And that was my sound. So if anyone hasn't just done a private one, I just highly recommend it. It literally shifted me, Miles, into a good chunk of what I know I'm here to do, and in my destiny and my purpose. And I listen to it, if not daily, at least 3-4 times a week.
Wow.
Ever since I got it. And it is just, it keeps shifting and shifting and shifting. And it has to do with writing, and has to do with intention and intercession. And it's private, and it's with Father, it's with Father, Son, and Holy Spirit and me. It's just that entanglement. And I just need to emphasize, thank you. I mean, it's what you do is powerful, because yeah, it was for my purpose and my destiny, but the fruit, the offshoot of that's coming from that sound, that ancient sound, is universal, probably more than I know, more than I can even put into words. So thank you. And thank you, Helen. And sorry, I couldn't find my hand. Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, Susan.
This is a good team working together. Susan, I really like what you're saying because I think I don't have words for what sound does, but it's so interesting and such a privilege to be able to experience it rather than wonder, even though there might not be the words for it. They surface within you, and I'm glad you said too, because I think this is an important concept for all of us. Some things need to be kept private. Like you had this experience, and now he's able to speak to you in that closet, right? And we don't have to share everything. As a matter of fact, I personally think keeping much of direction and even intent private has been more fruitful for me than just letting it out there. So good for you. Good for you.
Thank you. That's good. Good insight.
Gina.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've been thinking, musing about sound for a while now. And I don't know that it needs explanation with words. And I'm a wordsmith, so I like to put things into words and blah, blah. But sound is a whole different language. And I'm feeling like if a sound can invoke a strong feeling, the sound does its job. It is somehow connected there. I don't have it all straight, but for me right now, this sounding is the spirit's language of feeling the thing.
Yeah.
And feeling is then invoking the energy and the intensity of this thing and brings it from heaven to earth.
Yeah.
So we don't necessarily have to figure it all out. We just have to be in it. Just be. The end. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I think what you're saying has amazing depth to it for me, because sometimes it is the knowing that doesn't have the words, but we know it has a frequency in the sound is one of the most powerful, because when we release that, it is such absolute trust. It's absolute knowing. It's absolutely, way beyond what our words will sometimes confuse.
But somehow that's the magic.
Yes, that's right.
That's the
yeah.
I don't know, the secret.
It is. It is. We allowed to use words like magic? You bet. That's
I
what
just
it feels like.
well.
That's what. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I just being. Yeah.
Yes.
Just stir it up a bit here. That's great, Gina. Thank you. Miles, do you have anything that you'd like to share before we close tonight?
I would like to thank everybody on the call for especially the feedback. Being out here in the middle of nowhere sometimes, I mean, the Lord had me on a certain path, and part of that is, making sound baths available on a Zoom platform, which I didn't see that coming, but I can still be connected and still be able to minister, and because the Lord is still honing that ability to see, hear, taste, touch, and actually release the kingdom wherever we are. And a lot of that is obedience. When me and Jody started coming down here, we didn't know if it was, well, we knew it wasn't going to be 2 months. And we didn't think it was going to be 2 years either. But now it seems like we're going on 10 years of going back and forth. But it's obedience to the process, to the journey. I mean, if you look at Moses, how long did he have to spend because I look that way, it's the high desert, and look that way, and it's the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. But how long does the journey take where he's transforming the way we think? And I really think the way that music and sound, or the way that we release the frequency of heaven, is it's just going to become more and more real.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we see in the word, wherever wherever your feet touch the ground's taken. Well, I think we're going to see a reality of that, where our influence, or the influence of that realm, the realms of the kingdom, are going to be so much more richer, so much more noticeable than they were before.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm really into it. I'm not worried about the yuck of the world getting on me. I hope I am influencing the world for positive, and the kingdom is emanating out of me. And I know this region is going to be changed down here. That's why we're here. In the place where we lived before, it was dynamically changed. It was one of the darkest occult places that in the state, and it changed. Did we do is all the yuck gone? All the yuck that the Lord wanted us to deal with, which actually changed it. But part of that was, there's a scripture where the Lord said, I will call a people that are not my people. And there they would be called the sons of God. And the place where we lived before, Colorado, it's right next to Colorado Springs, and Colorado Springs was a mecca for ministry headquarters. And they all went like this to that town and said, the yuck's over there, it can stay over there. Well, so it was forsaken. I'd go to a prayer meeting and say where I was from, and there'd be an audible gasp, because it's like, oh, you're in that town? Well, the town went from a dozen metaphysical shops to one metaphysical shop. So I mean the change was even in the commerce. So so I know where we are, things are they're gonna change, but we have to call out what is written in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And so his original intent, when we were called down to this neck of the woods, the Father said, don't look at the yuck. You look for my original intentions for this area, because that's what matters. In healing and deliverance and ministering is what's more powerful, the word of God over somebody's life, or the lie? I can minister and kick a couple demons' butts or whatever, but it just if you don't address who they really are, it's going to come back. There's not going to be change. So you have to see the real, and you have to pull on that. You have to pull what's written in heaven.
You do. Absolutely.
And release it on earth. So
we are the sound from heaven.
Every one of us.
We're it. Yeah, that's it.
I think it's beautiful what you're doing and what you've just explained. Because even when you go on a Zoom and you're here with us right now, we're all from different places, but you're touching every single place because we're here. So, I mean, I think the Zoom is kind of this cool thing that was cooler than we all thought it was going to be, you know, way back in the day. So, yeah, it's beautiful because I think you're fulfilling your purpose to bring heaven to earth wherever you are, wherever you find yourself through whatever medium.
That's right.
Right now it's a Zoom. How great is that?
That's right.
You know, you don't have to pick up and move to I mean, yes, you do, but in the interim, in the everyday, in the ordinary, make the extraordinary be, right? Because wow, so you're doing what you're doing, however you're doing it, and you're touching us all and touching the places that we live. And I love it because you make us aware and conscious of what we can actually be, of what we can aspire to be. You make us aware of what is our original intent from Father for our lives, for our purpose, for what we're doing, for, you know, us. So you can do that from anyone. And so thank you. It's beautiful.
Right.
Thanks, Gina. Thanks, Gina.
That's really good, Gina. Thank you. Caroline? Speaking of standing on your head, compared to us, you see, Caroline is her head.
This is really, really, really fast, hopefully, if it can be. Miles, you know, I need to apologize because when we were all in the same cabin at Cedar Creek, I had no idea who you were. You know, like, you're important and famous, and I'm just me. And there I was in the same cabin as you, and I'm like, woo! So thanks. Thank you. And the other thing is, this morning I was thinking about Miles, and then I had a wee thought, and then it went away. And I'll be very honest and say, the way I was raised, to be really honest, I think I was molded differently because church, worship music, and no, music doesn't affect me. Like, all you people are talking and about this and this, and I'm going, I never felt any of that stuff. But I think it must go inside. It bypasses my conscious awareness and goes somewhere else. So I didn't know it was happening. And then all these wonderful thoughts were coming, and I was thinking things, and all of you have said almost the same things. So I don't even know why I'm talking, really, but I'm just backing you up and saying that there's a verse in Acts that says, Acts, I've forgotten where, and it says that we're all born into the King James habitation that God planned on, into the country and the world and the city, and in that time that we were meant to be born. So every one of us is perfectly who we are. And I like that. That's a very good verse. And so all of a sudden this thought came to me that everything, we've got to see everything as a gift. Like, there's all this racial stuff going on out there. Well, every single one of them was chosen by God, who to be and where to be. And it's a gift. They're a gift. We're all a gift. So you've got all this incredible music inside you that no one else here has got that inside them. And that's a gift. So not only are we a gift, who we are and where we live, but even our little gifts. And you know what? This is the last thing. I think I told you this at the conference. I looked at a man, I don't know what he was, but he looked like a man, in a shop once. And all I did was look into his eyes, and I was ruined. You can play music and it ruins people. And we hear people that hug someone and they're ruined. And so we need to find our thing. And we can just touch someone. If someone's got something in their hand, touch someone and it does this thing. So all I'm saying is, no, I'm not going to conclude it. You've all concluded it. There you go.
Thanks, Karen. It's good to see you, Rumi. Yes, it was fun.
Yeah, we were roomies. Yeah, we might be roomies again sometime. Who knows? Okay.
That'd be fun.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, thanks, Miles and Gina. And I kind of don't understand all that stuff about sound and things you're all talking about. Like, I don't feel all that, but I just know that my little bit of English is probably conveying what you're saying, but in another language.
That's right. Beautiful, Caroline.
Thank you. Thanks, Gina. Oh, I love seeing you all. And I'm going to go now. I mean, hang up.
Caroline, you are the absolute best. You are I smile out loud a lot thinking about you and your charm and wit, and I just love you. Thank you for being you. And Jacques says 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. Wow.
Actually, Jake's bow, it says. But anyway, I did see you on a Justin Abraham one. I watched that yesterday and I saw my friend there, you. And you even talked. So thank you. It was good to hear you. I thought, oh, there's a person I know. Okay, thanks.
How many stars can we have in one show? I mean, really, this is good. Wow. I don't want to cut anybody off. Are there any other questions? Anything? No. Miles, I'd like you to have the last word if you would like to say something.
A friend of mine has a song that is called Sound Out of Heaven, or Word Out of Heaven, I should say, sound. But I think, as Caroline said, everybody has their sound or their gift. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Be blessed to be that sound that the Father spoke in the beginning.
Well, thank you. We so appreciate you giving us this time. And I know you had to rearrange your day because you're an hour behind us. So that puts another thing on your time schedule. But we really appreciate you. We love you. And I just I hope that everyone will take advantage of Seventh Stream when they think of you and when they think of doing a sound bath. Make it up close and personal. It's so awesome. And we bless you, Miles. We bless Jody, and all that you put your hand to, we know will prosper. We thank you for that.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you, everybody.
And we will see you next week. Actually, it's a regular meeting next week, and we're going to be a little study on the Hermetic Code. It's going to be fun. Anyway, love you dearly. Thanks for joining, and may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face to shine on you, to be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and grant you his shalom. Nothing missing, nothing broken.